Hello, good evening. Mary, Constance, good evening. Yondu, say hi. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Mary Constance, Sani, good evening. Oyeshola, can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. Irene, Nikoya, hi. Hello, good evening. Hi from Zambia. Mutsa, Bushu. Can you hear me? Someone should please confirm that you can hear me. Let's go straight. Oh, thank you so much. No, you. No. I hope I pronounced it properly. Okay, so let's go straight into our tutorial for today. Okay, so this is what we're learning how to do. So actually, this dress that you can see. So this is what we're learning how to cut. So okay, it's a simple dress. So let's get started. It's a beautiful piece. So let's just get started. So the first thing we're going to draft the back first. So the back, let me show you guys the back of the dress. Okay, the back is not here. The back is not here. Okay. Okay, the back is on the thumbnail. So you guys should let me know where you're watching me from, okay? Just drop your names, let me know where you're watching me from. Say hello, say hi. So once I am done, I'm going to greet all of you specially, very specially. So I'm going to be drafting. So all this my marker stuff, I don't know what's wrong. Let's say that one. I'll use it for the front. So the first thing we're going to do, let's use this other one. We're going to mark the front part. Okay, this is a start line. Okay, so then the next thing, so for the back, we're just doing a basic back. So the next thing we're going to mark on for the back piece, we're going to mark a bust point. Thank you. You guys should just let me know where you're watching me from. When I'm done, I'm going to call everybody, greet you all, shout out to you all. Okay, if you know you want to shout out, just drop your name, say hello, say hi. Okay, so the next thing we have a bust point. This is the shoulder line. This first line now is our shoulder line. Okay, I just want to make sure that everything is captured good. So we have a shoulder line, and then the next line we have here is 10 inches, and then the next line is 13 inches. This 10 inches is our bust point. This 13 is the under of the bust, and then we have 16 inches for our waist, and then we have the full for the full length. We're using 23 inches. Okay, for the full length. So now let's mark. So this is the bust point line, which is 10 inches, just like I said. And then we have the under bust line, which is 13 inches. So this is the back. We're doing the back first. And then we have a waistline. That's where your the belly button is, which is 16. And then we have the last line, which is 23 inches. So that's like the full length. So you can see the way the blouse is a long blouse, it's not a short one. Okay. So I'm just going to mark it this way. So after that, the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to mark our shoulder measurement. So can you see? So for the shoulder measure, we're using 15 inches for our shoulder. So we'll divide 15 into 2, we have 7.5, and then we'll add half of an inch to it. And then from that half-inch point, you come down by 1 inch. For those of you that are just joining us, you're welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. Say hello, say hi. You guys should please like this video. You see the like button, okay? So the next thing we're going to mark from this point, we're going to mark half of our armhole measurement. So the armhole that I'm using is 16 inches. So when I divide that into 2, I'm going to have 8 inches. So I'll mark my 8 inches like this, and then I'll connect this line to the 8 inches. So how do you determine your armhole? You divide your circumference by 6, and then you add 1.5. So you can use that means, or you measure your armhole round and divide it into 2. Okay. So the next thing I'm doing, I'm just creating a curve at this point. So this is the back armhole. So after creating that back armhole, the next thing I'm going to create my bust, that's the measurement I'm using. So for the measurement, our bust circumference, we're using 36. Our under bust, we're using 30, is 34. And then the hem, you can see the hem is kind of open, like, right? So we're going to make use of 40 inches for that part, okay? Excuse me. So now let's all of this measurement. So for those of you that don't know to do pattern drafting, like I said, stay on the Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Here in our live classes, we really like 98% of pattern drafting. The other 2% we do freehand. So some of the days we just cut something with our freehand. But like 98% or 95% is pattern drafting. So you from here you learn how to draft your patterns and you become very good. Okay, so let's continue. So our bust is 36. So on this line, this is our bust point line. This second line, you remember, is our under bust. This is the waist, and then this is our hem. Okay. So now when you come to this bust line, this is your bust line. That's where your nipple is. Okay. When you say them too much, now YouTube can just shut down this video and do like all this kind of thing. So you use time to say them. Okay. So that's where your nipple point is. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to 36. Okay, for those of you that don't know, for beginners, when you divide 36 into 4, we're going to have 9 inches. So you mark the 9 inches on this line like this. Remember, we're going to take 1 inch because this is the back. We use 1 inch for the back, that, but for the front, we're going to use 2 inches. Okay, so you add that 1 inch. This is your dart. You add that 1 inch of the dart into your pattern, and then you are going to think of the allowance, the number of allowance you're going to use. Most time I normally like using 2 inches or 2.5 inches of allowance for my stitching allowance. So when I'm done, I can adjust or whatever. Okay, so it's good for you to have more allowance than having less, because most time when you have less, if you have problem, there's no remedy. But if you have excess allowance, you can always remedy the dress, okay, with the pattern. So now we'll come to the under bust line, which is 30 inches. So you divide 30 into 4, you are going to 7.5. You mark the 7.5 and then add 1 inch, that, remember. And then after adding the 1 inch, that, you add your stitching allowance also. And then we're going to come to the waist part, which is 34. Okay. So when you divide 34 into 4, you're going to mark it this way, and then you add, remember that 1 inch that you are going to run it, just run it all through, and then you add your stitching allowance. And then we'll come to the hem. So this is the hem now, that's the down part of the blouse. We're going to use 10 inches because the hem is 40 inches. Okay, so you mark 10 inches on that line, and then you are going to add 1 inch for the dart, and then you are going to add, for this I'm going to use 3 inches, because you notice the down part is wide. Okay, so I'll use 3 inches for that part. And then when I am done with all of these lines, I'm going to connect all these lines together like this. Okay, can you see? So I'll connect them. So for this, I don't want the down part of my blouse is open, so I'm not doing the curved one, so it's the opened one. Okay, so when I do this, the next thing now, we're going to take out our dart. So for the dart, so for this dart, I'm thinking of whether I think we should do a princess dart, just the simple, the basic princess dart. Okay, just the simple one. So now we're going to do a bust span. So the bust span we're going to do, which is the nipple to nipple, we use 8 inches. So you divide that into two. When you do that, you're going to have 4 inches. So you have that 4 inches across all of these lines. Okay, so this princess dart pattern is like the easiest princess dart you get. So for beginners, you should use this one. So I'm just going to mark it like this. So when I mark it like this, the next thing, I'm going to come to my waist measurement. I'll take out half of an inch like this to my right, and then half of an inch to my left. Okay, so when I take those half inch, see what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect them to this bust point like this. I'll connect them, and then I'll just float it into this place. Can you see what I did? So this one also, you take it like this, you connect it to this place. Can you see? And then you float that into this line. Okay, so now when we are done with this, we're going to check what we have here. Remember, we used it. So you're going to come to the center. So this center, I'm just trying to use broken lines just to show you guys. Can you see? You see how easy it is for you to connect that. So for this back one, we're not going to cut out anything. So we're just going to float that in. And then we're going to come for the neckline. So for the neckline, the width of the neckline, if you notice, it is a small neckline. So we're going to use 3 inches width. And then for the depth of the back neckline, we're going to use maybe like 1.5 inches because it is a high neckline. Okay, so you guys should please give my video a thumbs up. On this right hand side, you see 3 dots. Please hit on the video. You guys should please like the video. I would appreciate that. Okay, so after that, the next thing, I'm just going to take my pattern curve this way, and then I'm going to blend my line. Can you see? So like I said, this is like the easiest princess that pattern. Can you see? You see how beautiful, easy, simple this looks? So like I said, you guys should please drop. Let me know where you're calling me from, where you're watching from. So when I'm done, I'm going to give you guys a thumbs up. So for the back of this the back of this blouse, if you notice, you can see the way the sides are. Can you see? Even though it has a V front, can you see the way the sides are? It has curves, because that's it has curves like this. It came like this. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do now, so for the back, I'm surprised. Let me say I did not send. Let me check if the back, because there's the way the back of this blouse is. Let me check. Did I? Oh, the back is down here. I did not send the back. Yeah, I sent it from my other device. So the back is not here. So I'm just going to show you guys. So the back has a curve. You understand? Like a basque, kind of like a basque. That's how the back is. So the next thing I'm going to do, so like I said, I was showing you guys. So I'm just trying to, let me use the pencil, please. So the back has like a curve like this, like a basque curve like this. You understand? Like something like a curve like this. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's actually what I'm trying to do. This is how the back looks like. If you check the thumbnail that I sent, the back is there. So it's this kind of curve that we have at the back. But the front does not have that curve. The curve is just for the back. So for in order for us to get that curve, to achieve that curve, I'm going to come from this hem. I'm going to mark 3 inches. So I came up by 3 inches, and then from that 3 inches, I'm just going to create a curve like this. So if you check the picture that is on the thumbnail, you see what I'm trying to say, but it's not here on this picture, so I can't show you now. So the back has a curve like this at the down part, like a round basque at the down part. So this is how the back looks like. Here's my scissors. Every time I'm always looking for that scissors. Okay, see it here. Thank God it's here today. So I'm just going to cut it and show you. Can you see the way the shape looks like? Can you see? You see the way the shape of the blouse is, that's a curve, and then this part is sharp. So this waist part, I want to come in. I want to come in more. Remember the allowance that I did. I want a more sharper edge. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to blend this like this. Understand? I'll blend this like this. So I want that waist part, I want it deeper, kind of like sharper. So like I always say, that's the beauty of making use of a pattern. When you are drafting a pattern, you can do whatever you want to do with your pattern. You understand? That you can always work your pattern and then see what you are doing. Can you see? So once you are okay with your pattern, you see the shape. Can you see the shape? So once you are okay with your pattern, you are good to go. So let's cut out the front of our piece. So for the front, I'm going to be using double paper so that when we are done, we can open it, spread it, and then see what we have done to know if it is okay, if the pattern was right or if the pattern is wrong. Okay, we will know. Okay, so it's always good. That's the beauty of making use of a pattern. You can always correct your errors. Maybe, for instance, the pattern you use is not okay. You can change the pattern and then use another pattern, especially when you're working with bustiers. You can change the pattern and then work with another pattern. Okay, so just to give you what you want. All right, so the next thing, like I said, we're taking a bust point of 10 inches. So I'll mark it here. And then we have an under bust of 13. And then we have a waist of 16. And then I'm going to use 24 for this. Why am I using 24? Because I'm going to add a bust dart to it. Okay. So 1 inch, I'll use 1 inch for the bust dart. The difference is going to be 1 inch. I just want 1 inch. So I'm going to mark this. So all of these lines, I'm connecting them. I'm connecting these lines together like this. And then this is the under bust. You guys should please let me know where you're watching me from. Like I said, when I'm done, I will raise my head and then I'll be able to read all of your comments, give you guys shout out, everybody that tuned in tonight. I'll call your names out loud and greet you guys all specially. Okay. So I'm marking this. So this blouse, we're doing the pattern drafting today. So I intend to post a YouTube tutorial by God's grace, maybe on Thursday, of a similar kind of blouse, just like this kind of blouse. I'm going to do the sewing part, but it might not be this particular one though, but something like this. I already have it on my phone. Okay, so now let's mark out. So our dimensions that we're using, the bust is 40, sorry, is 36. Our bust is 36, our under bust is 30, the waist is 34, and then the hem is 40. So these are the measurements I'm going to be making use of. So the next thing, we're going to come to this part now. So let's add our shoulder measurement. Remember, our shoulder measurement, we're using 15. To divide 15 into 2, we are going to have 7. So you add half inch to that line. That's like an allowance. And then from that line, you're going to come down by 1 inch. Okay. So when you come down by 1 inch, the next thing you are going to do, you're going to connect that line to this shoulder line. So the reason why we do this to connect the shoulder lines, because our shoulder is not straight, it is a slanted shoulder. So that is why. So the next thing, from this point, we're going to mark our armhole. That's the armpit. So for this, we're making use of 8 inches. So I'm going to mark my 8 inches here like this. That's from here. Now you come down by 8 inches. So I already explained how you get the roundness of your armhole. How do you get that 8 inches? So divide your bust circumference. You can divide that into 6 and then add 1.5. So I'm just going to mark it like this. So this line, I'm just going to connect it straight. So it's going to serve as my chest line. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now, so this is our chest line, bust point, under bust, waist, and then our hem. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do now, let's go straight. My battery is almost running down. So I'm going to mark our bust span. Remember, we're using 4 inches for our bust span. So I'll just mark that 4 inches across all of these lines. So I'll mark it like this. Can you see? I'll mark it. So you guys should please give my video a thumbs up, okay? So I'll just mark it. I'll mark it here like this. So when I come to this point, you remember I'm going to take half of my armhole. That's the armhole measurement that I have. I'm going to take the center. So the center is like 4 inches. I came in by like a quarter of an inch. So from that quarter of an inch, I'm going to create a curve. So I want to create a curve. Okay, so I'll just mark that point straight because our front shoulder you come out because it has more allowance than the back. So can you see? I don't even know this kind of pattern curve. Okay, so now we have it. So the next thing we're going to do, our line, remember our bust span line, which is the nipple to nipple. So I'm going to mark it straight. I'll mark it straight down this way to the hem. So when I mark it down straight to the hem, the next thing we're going to do now, we want to take out our dart. So for the dart, so like I said, this is a very simple bustier pattern. So I'll use 2 inches. Okay, so these 2 inches, that's what I'm using for my dart. So I'm going to take this now and then I'm going to connect it to this point like this. Can you see? Can you see what I'm doing? So I'll connect it to this point. So when I connect this to this point, the next thing I want to remember this middle point that we marked. So I'm just going to I'm just trying to use broken lines first to make sure that everything works before I blend it. Okay. So from the center, I'm going to mark that. So from this center, when I mark that, I'm going to curve this. So I'll curve this way. So when I curve this way like this, I'm going to extend this line. So I'll extend that line by, so I'll extend it with like 1.5. So I can do 2 inches. Okay. So I'll extend that line and then I'm going to, so why am I extending it? Because since I'm doing a princess, that if I cut it, if I do not extend that line, if I cut it, it's going to short. It will become short. Okay. So I'm just trying to, I have one something here. This design at this center of table. The thing is obstructing me. It's obstructing me. It's making my pattern not to be smooth. Okay. So I'll curve it this way. So I'm just trying to create a beautiful curve. Okay, so I'll curve it this way. So when I curve it this way, so the next thing I am going to do now, I want to take this pattern, I want to bring it down like this. So from this point, I'm going to mark, so I'll just roll it down like this. Okay. So when I roll it down, so if you notice, you see at the down part, I have 1.5 inch. Okay. So I reduced it at the down part. So the next thing I am going to do now, my pattern, I want to hold this part. You understand? So I want to create that. So for that, I'm using 1 inch. So what I'm going to do, I'll take half inch to the right here and then take half inch to the left. So when I do that, this, I'm going to blend this like this into my pattern. Can you see? And then this also, I'm going to blend into my pattern. So once I do this, I hope you can see. So once I do this now, this will help me to eliminate any bulge that I'm going to have at that point. This, so once I do that, it will help me to eliminate any bulge I'm going to have around this area. So I've taken out 1 inch from this pattern. So that's the extra 1 inch that I added. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I want to mark the neckline. Okay. So for the neckline, we're using 3 inches, remember. So use 3 inches. I just want to double check, okay? And then for the front neckline, I'll use 3 inches, and then I'll use 3 inches, 3 by 3. So that is what I am using. So for those of you that don't know how to wear small necklines that are tight, okay. So I've marked that round neckline that way. So the next thing I'm going to do now, let's take out our full body measurement and then create out the style line, okay? All right, so I'm just trying to double check my microphone. So the next, I'm going to come to my bust line here. I'm marking 36. I'm using 36. So you divide that into 4, you have 9. You're going to mark it, and then I'll add my 2 inches of that intake, and then add 2 inches of my stitching allowance. And then I'll come to my under bust here. I'm using 30. When I divide 30 into 4, I'm going to have 7.5. So those of you that are just joining, you're welcome. You guys should please hit on the like button. I will appreciate it. You push should check this side, you see three dots. Just like the video, click on it and like the video. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. You guys should please, please, pretty please like my video. I would appreciate all of you that are tuning in. Just hit on the like button. Okay. All right. So now we have 7 inches, 30 inches. We have 7.5 inches. Uh-huh. So that's 7.5 inches. Remember, we took out 2 inches that. So you are going to put that 2 inches into your pattern. When you finish putting that 2 inches into your pattern, you are now going to put your sewing allowance. Okay. You can use 2 inches or 2.5 inches, like I told you. And then we'll come to our waist. That's the waistline measurement. We're using 34. So you divide 34 into two, sorry, into four. Into four. You are going to mark it. And then on this part, you are going to check our that. Remember, you can see the way our that is slanted, is not straight that. So you are going to check what you have here from your tape. You're just going to check it. You place it that way, like that, and then mark it. It's not up to two, so that is why you need to check it properly. You add it, and then you are going to add stitching allowance to it. Okay, so I'll mark my stitching allowance this way, and then I'm going to come to the hem. So for the hem, I'm using 40 inches. I'll divide 40 into 4. I have 10. So this part, I'm going to check what I have here for my dart. So it's like 1 inch. I'll bring that back into my pattern. I'll mark it. And then for the hem, I'm going to do for this front hem. If you notice, you know that the front is open. So I'm going to use that's 3 inches that I used. Okay, for the back. So when I am done, all of these lines, I'm going to connect them like this. Can you see the way I set? I did not start marking from here. That's one issue I noticed that some people they used to have. They would like see my point here. They would like want to come like this. No, you don't come like this. You are going to set your hand because it is coming like this. You understand? So these are some of the small issues that you have when you are working with patterns. For beginners that don't know, this is where the point of all of my marking stop. So I'm not going to start ruling it like this. I'm not going to be coming like this. Do you understand? No, you don't start. For instance, now if I say, okay, now let me join all the lines now, I now come like this. I'll now bend it like this. No. So you are going to start, take your hand from here like this. You're going to create that slope. You understand? So because I am teaching, so that is why you can see the way the pattern is rough, but it is okay because I am using it to teach. Okay, so you can see, so you curve it in from this way and then you come out, you understand? And then you come out from this side like this, and then you blend all of the lines together. Okay, so at times you can see a little bit of shortage there, so that will come in from our allowance. Okay, so when you are done with that now, so this one you can now blend this armhole, you understand? So you just blend that. Can you see? So you can now blend the armhole. So that is that for our pattern. So the next thing we're going to do now for our front pattern, we are going to cut the front of our pattern. So for the front of this pattern, so I'm opening it. So this dress has a joining at this center. You understand? It has a join. So because in order for you to achieve this properly, you need that join. That is what will give you this perfection here for these lines. Okay. So when you are cutting this, you can decide to add extra, like extra 1 inch. Remember, I did not add that extra 1 inch. So when I'm transferring to my fabric, I can decide to add that extra 1 inch that I'm going to use to join it, or add half of an inch. So please note, you understand? Because if you do not add it, it's going to get truncated. Please, please, please add it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to check how high. Can you see? This is our waistline, so we're going to come a little bit above our waistline in order for us to create that V opening. Can you see? So for this you are the one that is going to decide it. You understand? So it depends on what you want. You can use your waistline, or you can just come above. You can take like 1 inch above your waistline. Depends on what you want, and then you can just mark that. So from there, once you mark that, this is a simple process. It is a simple process. So we can decide to just cut out. So this is something that is really simple. we can decide to just cut out from this point like this. I'm using my pencil because I just want us to be very clear. So on this part, I can decide to use just half of an inch. We're going to try all of them, please. So this is half of an inch, this is 1 inch. So we're going to cut them open and see. Okay, so now let's mark. So this first one here, this one is 1 inch, and then this one is half of an inch. Okay, so we're going to cut them, and then we are going to see by ourselves to know which is wider. So the more you come out, the wider it will be. Okay, all right. So the next thing I'm going to do, I am going to cut this. So before I cut this, that shape, remember that shape at that down, we have a sharp shape here at the down part. Can you see? You see the way this down part is? It came, so that shape came from this point. Like, do you understand? It will hit this point. So I'm just going to use my dotted lines here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up. I'll just come up with like 2 inches, and then from that point, so as I did 2 inches, I'm looking at it that it is not, it's not very sharp, but I'm going to leave it. So I'm just going to mark it. I'm just going to mark it. I hope you guys can see what I am doing. Can you see the way I hit it up to that point? So that is what will give you those sharp edges like this. That is what will give you those sharp edges. So now let's cut out our pattern and see. So let's see what we have. So like I said, we'll cut out our pattern and see what we have. We'll see it and know if it is okay, if it is not okay, if our pattern is right. If our So I'm not going to cut out this bustier part yet. I just want to, I'm not going to cut out that bustier pattern, that bustier part yet. No. So this is the half inch. So let's cut out the half inch. So like I said, this pattern is going to be cut open. You understand? It's going to open at that center. So you can see that it is not, the half inch is not very wide. So that means ideally we're going to use like 1 inch, or maybe even 1.5 inch for this. So this part, you're going to hit it to this part, this edge. You make sure you hit it to that part. So can you see? So I'm just trying to open this up before we cut out our full pattern. Do you understand? To make sure that we see it. So if you notice that this part did not drop. Remember, I used 2 inches here. That's on this side, I used 2 inches. So that means we're going to come up with like 3 inches. That will come up. We're going to come up. We're going to use like 3 inches. So it is when we use that 3 inches, that is where we will be able to achieve that sharpness at that tip. Can you see? You see the way this part now is different from this part. Can you see? So like I said, this is a pattern drafting class where we try out our patterns, making sure that everything is okay before we continue. So can you see? So you can see the way the shape is looking. So make sure, and then we're going to open this up. Can you see? You see the way it is looking now? You see it looks good. So now we can now cut open our pattern. So like I said, when you are now cutting, when you are cutting, so can you see how I'm cutting it? Remember that's 1 inch that. So you are going to cut that out, and then you will cut this. So your pattern is going to be opened at this center. You make sure you open it. That's the way you'll be able to achieve the sewing. So like I said, I'm going to do a sewing video for a pattern like this. So I'm going to do that this week. I'll work on it and then I'll upload the video. So can you see? So this is how it is going to look at the end of the day. So you can see our pattern is okay. So our pattern is okay. Our pattern is okay. So after joining, by the time we stitch, when we join here, this part is going to be open like this, and then this part is going to stay. This part is going to stay here. This part is going to stay here, and then this stays like this. So we have that V here, and then we are going to have this sharp edge. Okay, guys. So that is that for our pattern today. So now let's see. Let me greet all the people that tuned into this live stream for tonight. Okay. So let's start. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, Mary Constance, thank you so much. You're the first person that joined that commented. She said hello, good evening. Mary Constance. Amen. Amen. Amen Yonu. Good evening. Say hi. Oyeshola Sani, good evening. Irene Nzikwaye, people should pardon me, oh, please. Thank you so much. Mary Constance, say yes. I was asking if you can hear me. She said yes. Thank you so much. Musta Buhu, thank you so much. Those of you that are giving me hearts, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Those of you that are giving me hearts, thank you. Okay. Musta Bushu said, let me remove this. Let me hold it. Bushu said, hi, you're watching from Zambia. Thank you so much. Mary Constance, I can hear you. Thank you so much. Oyeshola Sani, yes, I can. Thank you. Agbe, God help me. Okay, Antonia. Agbisi, yes. Why can I not pronounce it? Am I not Nigerian? Agbisi Antonia. Hi, good evening, ma. Good evening. Mustabushu. Yes, I can. Thank you so much. Esther Twum Boafo. Good job. Thank you so much. Colette. Hi, mama. Hello. Good evening, Colette. Irene. Kwaye. You say you're watching from Ghana. Thank you so much. Esther Twan Balfour, you're watching from the US. Thank you so much. Mary Constance, oh, thank you so much. You're watching from Lagos. Nkem, say hi. Nkem, you didn't tell us where you're watching is. Oh, Geregbe Rita, good evening so much. Thank you so much for joining, Rita. Chinanza Nwashike, good evening. Good evening, Chinanza. Chinanza, you did not tell me where you're watching me from. Oh. Precious and Anna saw. Precious Anna saw. Good evening. Anna saw. I think no Anna Shaw is saw. Esther Twan Bafo. Thanks. Thank you so much. Adeyemi Ola Peju. Hi. So thank you so much, all of you that tuned in today for our tutorial for our pattern drafting class. So like I said, let me do small, let me show you people small. Oh, it's like it's not in the, okay, yes. So I'm thinking you guys you can see this picture. This is almost like what we did. So I'm thinking of sewing. I don't know which one I should sew, whether this or this one that we did today. You understand? Or this one. You can see that both of them are the same, almost like the same pattern. So you somebody should help me choose. You understand? You can see this, whether we sew this on our normal YouTube tutorial or we sew this one. Can you see? So just let me know which one so that I'm going to work on the video. Deborah, thank you so much. Kwai, you're watching from Ghana. Thank you so much. So either of the two, just drop it on the comment section. I will see it later. Thank you so much for watching, all of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for your time. Thank you for tuning in for today's tutorial. God bless you all. Mwah.